If you're watching this video and you feel like you're behind in life, like everyone has figured out and you haven't, this video is for you. You know what? I want to say something that might surprise you. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are just overwhelmed. Most people don't fail because they don't want to change. They fail because they try to change everything at once. This channel, Rebuild with Thabo, is not about motivation. It's about rebuilding your life one step at a time. Especially after loss, especially after disappointment, especially after divorce, or even starting over your life. If your life feels heavy right now, stay with me for the next hour. For the next hour or so. This might be the most important conversation you've ever had with yourself in a long time. You know, the reason why this channel exists is because of there is a lot of channels out there that are focusing on motivation, but they are not focusing on the rebuild, how to rebuild a person after they go through divorce, for example, or even after they've lost their job, after they've lost someone that they love, after a disappointment. You've been in a committed relationship for a long time and you find that you now have lost your identity because of you don't know how to show up anymore. You don't know who to be after that long-term relationship or even after that divorce, you know. And this is why this channel exists, so that we are able to create a community here of people that are going exactly through that. And you have a person right in front of you or right in your screen that has gone through exactly that. The divorce that nearly broke me, the divorce that nearly bankrupted me, the divorce that nearly killed me even, you know. And this is for you if you've gone through divorce. This is for you if you've lost your job, if you've lost hope, if you've lost the relationship that you had promises in and you thought that, you know what, in this relationship, this is where I'm going to retire. This is where I'm going to actually strive and all of that. And this is not for you if you can't take accountability, if you don't know what it feels like or what it looks like to be heartbroken. You don't know how people feel after they've lost their well-beings and their livelihoods actually. And this is not for people that are chasing for quick fixes. No, this is for people that understand that the rebuild is meaningful and it will take some time. Not forever, but it will take some time. You know, we all, seeing that it's January right now, we all fall under pressure of wanting to change our lives and to change our lives right 360 degrees at the same time. You know, social media is busy saying, no, you must, when you make a change after divorce or after loss, you must actually be doing it this way. You know, you have religious people that are telling you that, no, just pray about it and everything will be okay. But get this, the reason why we quit on ourselves is because we take those pressures and we make them personal and we think that they apply to all of us. No, they don't apply to all of us. Remember, what you've just gone through or what you're going through is literally like death. It's literally like experiencing death. I mean, going through divorce, it's not a child's play. It is not. I've been through it and I know that, you know what, it's literally like going through death. And even religious leaders, sometimes they can't even help you because of they will give you just theory. They will try to help you theoretically with something that they have never been through. They don't know the stages after divorce, what happens to you after divorce. I mean, having to go to someone that has never gone through that divorce and you want them to help you out of that. I'm not saying that they can't help you. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that it is vital and it is beneficial for you to have someone that has walked that route helping you. You know, for that person to be able to show you that, man, look, don't fall into this January pressure of saying, yeah, make a decision now and hope that your life will just fall into place in the next coming 2 weeks. No, this is not the type of healing that you want, because of, if you do that, you are definitely going to quit on yourself quicker than you think. If you go through social media and what they're advising and what they're saying, you will quit, because of those advices that you get there. They are unrealistic. They are from people that don't even know how it is to heal yourself, how it is to change your identity. You know what I mean? Because pressure doesn't heal people. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But giving yourself permission does. Give yourself permission to say, I'm giving myself permission to heal myself. I'm giving myself permission to go through all the emotions that I have to go through this January. I'm giving myself to rebuild from loss. You know what I mean? Man, like I said, I've been through this. I've been through divorce, and by the grace of God, I managed to get out alive. And not only to get out alive, but I also managed to unstuck myself. You know, when I went through divorce, so I got divorced in 2020, and what led to my divorce was me being reckless in my life, living a reckless life, living a life that has no accountability, living a life of fun, living a life of being a groovist, and, you know, just running away from my ex-wife and making sure that I make her feel like each and everything is her fault. And our divorce was one of the divorces that were finalized in 2020 when the courts opened here in South Africa. It was quick. It was quick. I'm not gonna lie to you. We spent something like 10 minutes or 15 minutes with the magistrate. It was all yes, we agree, yes, we agree, we're leaving everything. And man, during that time when that was happening, even the events that led up to that, I was proud that, you know what, I don't want this anymore. I don't want this marriage anymore. I am prepared. I already have a girlfriend, or already have girlfriends in there. And I felt that, you know what, this marriage anyway, it has run its course. But when that day happens, when the judge says you are officially divorced, go to the other office to fetch your decree of divorce, man, all those memories and all those feelings came running back to me. And I realized that, you know what, man, when we were getting married, there was such a lot of people there just coming to congratulate us and all of that we are getting married. But now that we're divorcing, first of all, I'm alone there in that court, and it's the first time for me going through this. I don't know who's going to support me. I don't know what type of support I need, you know. And man, I'm telling you, when the divorce was finalized, that was like the last nail on the coffin to say, dude, really, you've lost your marriage, you've lost your identity, you are no longer a husband. You know, even though we were living our separate lives for something like a year during the divorce or during the separation, you still identify with that, you know what, I have a house, I have cars, I have a wife. As much as me and my wife are estranged, but I have a wife. And now that the magistrate has given her signature to say, hey, nothing, no more, we are done, you are done, you guys have made that decision to say, hey, goodbye. I lost my identity. I lost who I am, because my identity was always built on what we were able to accomplish in that marriage. I hanged on that identity of saying I'm a husband, I have a house, I have garden services that I have to make sure that they come and and mow the lawn and all of that. My identity was in cars. My identity was basically in material things. And now that I had lost all of that, including half of my pension, man, I didn't even know where to begin. I didn't know where to begin to restart my life. Instead, what I did was I went into the phases after divorce. I went into my whoring state where I was sleeping with everybody and I was drinking a lot and I was neglecting my children. I didn't have time for anything, but I only had time for proof, basically. I only had time for things that were distracting me. I feared being alone because when I was alone, then that voice would come up and say, hey, work on your life. Work on your life. Yes, you have gone through this, but it's time for you to work on your life. I have to say that I felt stuck. I didn't know where to begin. I felt shame of starting all over because of I didn't know how to start all over. You know, I even got myself a girlfriend that had all of those things that I used to identify myself with, and only to find that the same person, that girlfriend, is also identifying herself with those things. And because she was identifying herself with all of those things, now it means that I now have to ask permission in order for me to even use the car. Because of I don't know anymore how being a man looks like, because of my definition of a man had been stripped away by the divorce for me. And I felt shame. I didn't even know where to start. I wanted quick fixes, like getting someone that already has the things that you identify with as success. You know, and each and every girlfriend that I had after that, they had exactly that. But I didn't know that I was delaying myself. I wasn't aware that, you know what, I was just going around in circles, avoiding the work that I'm supposed to do. And the shame that came with having to start over, not having a car, not having a house, having to go and rent a cottage because of now you can't afford to buy another house. You are now alone. Your pension has been taken. Your work, it's during COVID. In the travel industry, everything was closed and we took a pay cut whereby one can't even afford a house anymore. You can't even afford a car. I had to make a plan. I had to get out of these situations. I have to take myself out of these situations. And I must say that the ex-girlfriend that I had at the time, she played a major role in me wanting to find myself, because of I didn't know the type of man that I was, or I was the type of man that I couldn't recognize when I was with her. And in a way, because she was a strong character person, she made me forget the type of boyfriend that I normally am when I have resources. You know, now that my resources are gone, then I don't recognize myself. I don't know how to show up for this person because of I only thought that, you know what, money is the one that makes a man and material things are the ones that make a man. But boy, was I not wrong. But why I'm saying that she played a huge role is because of it's that relationship that took me to therapy. It's that relationship that made me to finally wake up and say, you know what, Thabo, you've been fighting these quiet battles inside of you. When you are alone, you cry in the shower. When I'm alone, I sit up in the bed during the night and I can't fall asleep because I'm asking myself every day to say, God, is this really who I am right now? Is this person that I have become now? Is this what I've become now? The person that just changes girls and has meaningless sex, always drunk and can't even sleep at night. A person that has lost their definition of what a man looks like. I'm telling you that the quiet battles that I had to fight during that time, because of I had lost my identity. I didn't know who I am. I needed to redefine myself. And each and every definition that I knew, or each and every definition of a man that I would find, had to do with being a person that is able to take care of your loved ones. And at that time, I couldn't be able to. And that's why I remember that night vividly. Friends of mine called me to say, dude, it was on a Sunday night. Called me to say, dude, come. We at this place, we chilling there. Come through. Come through. Let's chill. It's not healthy for you to be alone and to just be alone because of you going through so much. And at the time, I didn't think that I was going through so much, because of I was that naive to say, no, I've got this figured out. I'm going to bounce back. I know that I'm going to bounce back. But when I took a shower that evening and was getting ready to go meet up with these friends of mine, and we were just going to drink, man, whilst I was in the shower, this voice kept on being strong to say, no, don't go out. Spend time alone. Sit here. Be with yourself. And the other voice came and it was busy saying, look at your life now. The shameful voice. Look at your life now. Yeah, you don't need those people, but look at how much you ruined your life. How are you going to restart your life? How are you going to be able to go back to that position that you were when this divorce was finalized? Because I've always had 2 cars, for her and for mine, and one for mine. And we had a beautiful house, and we had beautiful children. And I always identified with that, and that voice kept on saying, how are you going to rebuild? How long is it going to take you to rebuild your life? To get back to the man that you know. And when I looked at the time that it took me, or that it took us to get to where we were, man, I was very discouraged. I lost hope to say, I can't do this. This is going to ask of me twice the time because of I'm now alone. This is going to ask of me to rebuild this life and maybe have 3 or 4 jobs if I want to get to that position. But this voice kept on saying, no, work on yourself and you will be able to rebuild your life. And you know what? I just want to say to you, man, that I didn't rebuild my life with a breakthrough. No, I didn't get one breakthrough that I say, yes, this is what I'm looking for. And this, because I have this, it's going to then replace everything else. And I'm going to be able to restart my life and go where I used to be. No, it wasn't that much big of a breakthrough. But I rebuilt my life with small, boring, faithful decisions and discipline. I sat down, I cried, I mourned my divorce. I mourned myself. I mourned the person that I was. I mourned the person that my ex-wife got to experience, which that person was not a good man. Was not a good man. I couldn't take responsibility for how I showed up in that marriage. I couldn't take accountability for my actions. Everything was her fault. Everything, even after the divorce, everything was her fault. I changed my story to make it about her. I changed and I made excuses of my inability to move forward, or of my inability to work on myself, to be about her. And boy, did I not stay there long. Did I not overstay my welcome there? I stayed there for like 2 years. For like 2 years. Because study says that for a person that has divorced, it takes them 2 years. 2 full years, 24 months for them to wake up and try to find themselves. And that's if they wake up and find themselves. But a lot of people, they find themselves being stuck right where the pain was inflicted. And I rebuilt my life in 4 areas. 4 areas. I didn't want to go into a lot of things and say, man, I'm going to rebuild my life and I'm going to rebuild each and every department of my life. No. I just looked at the things that are pressing for me. I looked at my emotions. What emotions am I feeling? What is my level of emotional intelligence? What do I understand about my emotions? How do I regulate my emotions? And I did that one day at a time, because I felt that, if I don't deal with my emotions, I am going to be an emotional wreck. Each and everything that happens, or anybody will have power over me. My ex-wife will have power over me. Whatever I hear about her, I will be reactive, of which that's how I used to be. Just react anyway. And I think she even used to play games with my emotions because she knew that she could get the best out of me. She knew that I outsourced my responsibility when it comes to my emotions to her, to say, I'm going to be hysterical because she did this. And at the time, I had not learned that, whatever that the person does, it says a lot about them than it says anything about me. At the time, I didn't think like that. At the time, I didn't know that. I thought that, no, because of this, then this is how I'm going to react. Cause and effect syndrome. And man, I was so stuck in that because I gave her power. I gave everybody else power to say they have the power on how do I feel, how do I see the world, because they could press any button that they wanted and then I would react. And I had to work on those emotions. I had to work on those emotions and to choose to say, man, you cannot go on like this. You cannot go on like this. You have to learn what is emotional intelligence. And I remember once I was watching a video on YouTube, right here where you are, and a speaker was talking about learning how to control your emotions. And I had never heard of that. I had never heard of emotional intelligence. And I'm like, you can control this? And I wanted to learn. And that's one of the first things that I did. And I learned to be honest also with myself. I took one honest moment a day. I started journaling. About my emotions. And I didn't know that I had so much unresolved emotions within me. But pen and paper helped me. I'm showing you this pen and paper because I want you to see that these are the things that I practically do, that I practically did when I started working on myself. And that I did it one day at a time. And don't despise small beginnings. Don't. Small beginnings, they play a very big part when they are compounded each and every day. When you add them up each and every day. By the time you are a year in working on yourself, or even 6 months on working on yourself, when you look back, you see a different person. You see a different version of yourself. The next thing that I worked on was my faith. I had lost my faith. I had lost my relationship with God during the time, even when I was married, even when I was still married. I thought that I didn't need God. Actually, anything that had to do with God used to bore me because I grew up in church and my father was a pastor, and I thought that I knew God. I thought that I don't need to work on my relationship with God. I thought that I had everything figured out. Everything was going well. My job was going well. I was changing jobs each and every 3-5 years. and all of that, and everything was going right, was going fine. And I thought that, you know what, I don't need God. Business was going well, and I was getting money without even working hard for it. And I thought, you know what, I don't need God. What do I need God for? What do I need God for? Because of the other thing that we need to be cognizant of is, what do we do when we have received those things that we have been praying for from God? Because I had been praying for prosperity at that time, and prosperity had come. I had tasted prosperity, and because of lack was the one that was pushing me to God, to get to know God. And now that prosperity, or what looked like prosperity, had come, or success had come to me, I had tasted success, I forgot the person that actually gave it to me. And I thought it was all by my doing. And that drifted me away from God. I got acquainted with friends that didn't care about God. I got acquainted with friends that were doing ungodly things. And I was part of that. You know, my pastor always says that, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And to be quite honest, with the friends that I'm talking about, I'm not blaming them or anything, but your company will reveal who you are. They say that you are an average of your 5 friends. And if your 5 friends are all doing the same thing, or all your 4 friends are all doing the same thing, and when you are the 5th one, and you think that you're not going to do that, you're lying to yourself. You are going to fall for that. And I did exactly that. And that costed me to forget my faith, to forget the relationship that I had with God. And I had to go back, one real prayer at a time, one meditation at a time. I learned other ways of praying. I learned other ways of serving God. I learned that God doesn't need my performance. He doesn't need my performance. He just needs me as I am. The Bible says, come as you are. Come as you are. And I went to him as I was. I didn't say, no, God, you know what? I'm going to perform for you. Let me first get this figured out or whatnot. No. I went back to God. I went back to God. I went back to even the same people that would say to me, would meet me in the streets holding a savannah or holding a beer, and they would say to me, hey, you have backslidden, ne? Instead of praying for me. I went back there. But I went back there with one prayer at a time. I didn't pray for a whole lot of things. I just prayed to say, God, here I am. Please restore me. You know what I mean? The next step that I took was building relationships with my children. Because remember, I was always in the streets and I didn't have time to spend with my children because I was always out. I was always running away. You know, I'm looking at the time right now, and where I am right now, it is actually 1919 on a Saturday. And I would say, you know what? There's no way you'd find me at home right now. There's no way. But because of now we were co-parenting with my ex-wife, I needed to show up. I became a single father at my home, and I had made sure that I do not introduce these children to anyone else. When I say anyone else, I mean any other lady that I'm not going to have a meaningful relationship with. And I made sure that, you know what, I'm just going to rebuild my relationship with the children. And we started having conversations, serious, real conversations. One conversation every day. We would talk about things. I would ask them how they feel about the divorce. Do they know what it means, what's happening? I mean, my son was 9 years old when we divorced, and my daughter was 6 years old when we were going through divorce. And I had to sit them down, sit with them, and give them guarantees and talk to them, hear how they're feeling, hear from them what broke them, what parts of them needed the rebuild. Because of my rebuild, I wanted it to be their rebuild also, so that we build, we grow together. And we did exactly that. By the grace of God, we did exactly that. One conversation a night. What we used to do is we used to have dinner inside the house. Just have dinner inside the house. And we decided to say, you know what? When we have dinner inside the house, we're just sitting on the couches, we're not looking each other in the eyes, and we're just watching TV and whatnot. Then I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy an outside table, an outdoor table. And I got that outdoor table made. And now, even during the week, during school days, I would, after work, I would prepare dinner, nice dinner, because of I can cook. I would prepare dinner for the three of us, and would set up a table outside, and would have fun and just sit there, listen to jazz music, not with the volume up high there. No, like restaurant style. Would listen to jazz music and just have a conversation. And I would tell them that, guys, be open. Tell me everything and anything that you're feeling. There is no need for us to rebuild in pretense. I want you guys to tell me everything. I want you guys to open up your heart to me, and I'll open up my heart to you guys. I want you guys to ask me even questions that you find that they are difficult. And I said to them, you know what? This place, we're going to name it Switzerland, where we say there is no wrong, there is no right. We just have a conversation here. And we had our Switzerland. And even today, where we're staying right now, it's still Switzerland. We still call it Switzerland. And they know if they want to address anything or they want to talk about anything, we have that word as our safe as our safe word to say. They come to me and they say, Dad, Switzerland. And I'm like, okay, Switzerland. And then I know that, you know what? They don't need their father right now. They need the friend, the counselor that I am to them. You know, they need my ear. They don't need my judgment. They don't need me being strict or anything to them, because I had told them that, look, guys, let's discuss everything here. There's no wrong, there's no right, but we shaping one another. And even today, our relationship is still solid. And because of, I learned from there to build good relationships. I mean, my daughter, even one time when we were busy talking, and she was like, you know, Dad, I am glad. I'm not happy that you divorced with Mom. I am not. But I'm happy that now we get to know you. Not to know of you. We get to know the real you. You know what I mean? And man, that broke my heart, but at the same time, it soothed it to say, at least if there's one takeaway that I can take away from this divorce, is that I have built a good relationship with my children. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. But we are people that are trying each and every day. We are all working on this relationship. And because of I started with them, foundation base, with people that didn't have any expectation, with people that were not expecting a performance from me, with people that loved me as I was. They didn't love what I could do for them. That changed the whole definition of being a man for me. It changed that. It changed it for me. to say they are not looking for those things that I thought were important. They are not looking to go out every day and have meals wherever, and I'm not there. I'm just an ATM father that just sends their mother money and they go wherever. No, they are looking for connection. They are looking for connection. And after I realized that, I was like, you know what? The next relationship that I'm going to build, I'm praying to God that He brings me someone that is not defined, or that doesn't define a man or a relationship with the things that I used to define with. A person that is always looking for connection. And you know what? I did find that person. I did find that person. And that person is here with me. She's now my wife. The person that saw me as I was. And I wasn't ashamed for what I was going through. I wasn't ashamed for what I had lost. I wasn't ashamed for who I was, because I was finding who I am without all these things that I thought defined me as a man. She found a teacher, someone that can teach her things. And I found a teacher, someone that can teach me things. I found someone that is able to ground me, to say, hey. Baby, we don't do that here. And I was able to do that with one boundary at a time, one conversation at a time. Boundaries in terms of, I now knew what is for me and what is not for me. I now knew what I want and what I don't want, who I want and who I don't want. I knew exactly that. And there was no other way for me to get to know those things if it wasn't about building the relationship that I built with my children. The fourth step, or the fourth item that I worked on, was discipline. It was discipline. And I implemented that discipline with one habit at a time. One habit at a time. One respect at a time. One respect for myself, for my future self at a time. I didn't want to live an ill-disciplined life, because of when you rebuild one day at a time, you're going to need discipline. You're going to need to know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. You will need to know where to go and where not to go. And my kids helped me with this. They kept me grounded. Each and every habit that I would let go, I would have to replace it with another habit. And I would tell them, well, guys, now I'm leaving alcohol. I'm not longer going to be drinking. And they would hold me accountable. Dad, you said you don't drink anymore. Why are you hanging out with people that still drink? And my wife, my now wife, which she was a girlfriend at that time, she was also my accountability partner. She actually is the one that inspired me to stop drinking, because of she's one person that you'd buy her a 6-pack of whatever that she drinks, or even champagne, and she wouldn't finish it. She would just drink 2 glasses of champagne from the whole bottle. And me, I was that person that would buy 24. I would buy a set of the whole box of beers, and I would consume them in one day. And when I saw that, you know what, Ahmed, come on, this person only takes one or two. What am I doing? Who am I in competition with? And then I was like, 1 January, I was like, no, this is the last time I drink, and I don't want to drink anymore. And I voiced out that decision to my children and to her. Yes, I did go back to drink again, end of January. And the last drink that I took was on the 22nd of February, 2022. So on the 22nd of February this year, I am 4 years old. 4 years sober. And I love the new me that doesn't drink. I love the new me that doesn't drink. But that habit came one day at a time. And I had to choose and respect that habit for the future me, for the me today. To say, if I don't stick to this, then I am not going to be able to celebrate this 4 years right now that I'm celebrating. You know what I mean? And I'm looking forward to the next coming 4 years again without drinking. I am not going back. Because why? Consistency beats intensity every time. Every time. I've told myself, and every day when I wake up, I always say, one more day. One more day being sober, Thabo. One more day being sober, Thabo. And even when I go to weddings, yes, I will smell that whiskey or I will smell that cognac because I love the smell. But it doesn't mean that I want to drink it. I just love the smell. And I would just smell it. And you'd find that the people that I'm borrowing their glasses to smell, they'll be going like, no, just have just a bit, man. We won't judge. And I'll be like, no, just one more day, Thabo. One more day. Choosing one more day, choosing one small step will compound. And by the time you look back, you will go like, oh my God, it's 4 years now since I've made that decision. Consistency beats intensity. And man, remember, small steps, they've always been there. They've always been there since from creation. Nothing works as big steps. No, nothing. Even in the Bible, no big steps were taken. You know, and this is why small steps work. Look at the life of King David. When he was faced with Goliath, he went to Goliath with such a small weapon that was even not regarded as a weapon, a sling. He went to fight him with it. Saul tried to give him his armor and all of that. And David was like, no, man, these things are heavy. I don't love these things. And everybody saw a giant that would crush them. But David, oh, bless David, man. David, because of he had been through so much as a young boy, as a small boy that was disregarded by even his father. His father even forgot him that he has a son by the name of David. But because of he had had challenges in the wilderness and he had won all those battles in the wilderness silently, not everybody knew that this boy has slain a lion in the wilderness. Not everybody knew that this boy has had a fight with a bear in the wilderness. That's why they underestimated him. And what he said was, this guy, y'all are crying and whatnot about this uncircumcised guy and all of that. This guy, and you guys are scared because of he's huge. He's huge. Yes, he's huge. But he's huge that I can't miss him. See the mindset there. Small things, small beginnings. That's what they do. What they help us with. To say, to change our minds and say, no, man, you can do this. It doesn't matter how big this looks like. It doesn't matter how your rebuild looks like. It doesn't matter how it looks like that you've lost everything. It doesn't matter. You can still rebuild it one brick at a time. Just like David, that took a small stone. And that's exactly what we need to do. Make sure that the test that we have passed, the things that we are rebuilding on, they are going past. We're going past them. Look at the mustard seed, how small it is. But God says to you, I just need that size of faith for things to move for you. That's all you need. Faith that is at the size of a mustard seed. It's so small. It's so small. It's so small, yet it brings out a huge, humongous tree. And that goes to show that you can move a mountain with the smallest of faith, as long as you don't have doubt. That's how big small beginnings are. And we always fall into that trap of despising small beginnings, thinking that no, we need big things. No, God never gives in big things. He never does. He always gives in small things. And his gifts, they come wrapped up as adversity. You know what I mean? And when small steps will help you to also develop your mind, they will create new neural pathways in your mind, in your brain, to say, man, seeing that we are rebuilding our lives, this is how we choose to think right now. And those neural pathways, they will start to form. They will start to form so that your mind gets rewired. And you will learn to be safe before you grow. Because in your growth, you will need to be safe. You will need that safety. And you will learn how to safeguard your emotions, how to safeguard your faith, how to safeguard your finances, how to safeguard everything. Because whilst it's still small, it's easy to safeguard it than when it's big. You know what I mean? It's easy to safeguard that small seed. It's easy to safeguard it. Now, when it has given you fruits and whatnot, you might not be able to handle them if you don't learn the lessons in your building stage. If you don't learn the lessons in your building stage, you might miss it, and you might even not get to be able to handle the big stuff that God gives us. Because God grows what we nurture, not what we rush. He grows what we nurture. He grows it. He's the one that decides to say, I'm going to give you this, or I'm not going to give you this. But if we rush, he's not there. He says in his word, be still. Be still. Be still. Sit. That's where you will get the answers. That's where your mind will work. That's where you will solve problems, by not rushing. Look at the trees. They are all always sitting still. Always sitting still. And man, I just want to say to you, man, just sit down where you are. Just sit down where you are and do the following exercise for yourself. Have a pen and paper with you. You can pause this video and go look for a pen and paper with you, and just write these things down. Ask yourself, what's the one area where I feel stuck? What's the one area where I feel stuck? Where I feel that I can't move. And because of I'm stuck here, I can't even go and look for the next thing. You know what I mean? Which curve am I stuck at that is not allowing me to go see what's on the other side? And ask yourself, in that stuckness, what's the one thing that what's the one step that I can take in the next 24 hours? You don't need a lot of steps. You don't need 10 kilometers. You don't need a mile or anything like that. No, you just need one step. Ask yourself, what's that one step that I can take in the next coming 24 hours? Ask yourself that question and find the answer. Or if I do this, and you have the answers within you, to say, if I just take one step of this, if I decide to take 5 minutes each and every day, just to sit in meditation, just to sit in the quiet and quiet everything. That might be the start of my healing, but you know the answer of that question, or that says which area or in your life do you feel that you are stuck, and what's the one step that you can take in the next coming 24 hours. And the last question is, what's the one expectation you need to release? Just that one expectation that you need to release. What's that one expectation that you need to release? Write those down, sit with them, and take one step at a time. Even if you take one step every 24 hours, that's progress. That's progress. The thing that you don't want is to stay stuck there without movement. You don't want that. You don't want that. That's not what you need. You don't need a new life. You just need a new step. You just need the next step, a new next step for you to build the new life that you want. You don't need a new life that's just going to come and then they exchange. No. You just need the new next step. And this channel exists so that we can walk the journey together. So that I can walk the journey with you. That's why this channel exists. By the way, welcome to Rebuild with Thabo. My name is Thabo. Please subscribe on this channel so that we can reach more people. And you can comment Rebuild on the comments if this message was worth your time. Share this message with someone that needs to hear it. Share it with that person. Share it with your cousin. Share it with your pastor. Share it with your friends. Share it with your mentor. Share it with the people at work. Just share it if you know that you've benefited from this message. By the way, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope this was beneficial for you. Thank you.